about shocking the system. What will be, the greatest or the height of actually shocking the system? Should we go the Ghanaian way, where we had President Jerry Rawlings, aligning these people who are corrupt in the stadium, and they were shot? That shook actually the system as well.
Where is Ghana today?
And where is Ghana today?
Yeah,
that is a common question.
In terms of
I got shocked with my friend here, actually, perhaps different today, that a thief has a constitutional right. I'm like, oh my God, that's probably that's basically what you're saying.
Yes.
And I think yesterday I was talking to high commissioners and ambassadors who have been listed and appointed. And one of them said, you guys, why are you invading the elephant in the room? They said, it's corruption. Because one of the things the individual was saying, when they go there, and we are selling our country, they're actually being told your country is corrupt. You go for deals there, even before you start, you are being told this up front. And I'll give you an example. Uchumi, there are some people who really wanted to revive Uchumi.
Yes.
But they're being asked to bring this up front. Now, let me say what perhaps the shock Stephen is talking about.
Yes.
I think about 3 or 4. I think the first thing we need to do, Patrick, when the investigations are going on, you should be in jail. Whether it's decided whether you are guilty or not, the investigation are on, you should actually be in jail.
At least incarcerated somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Secondly, I think we need the fourth estate. I like the way you're exposing the fourth estate has to come more strongly in exposing this.
Yes.
If you look at this one of Duare and you go to page 4.
Yes, page 4.
I was just going some of the, look like the pedestrian bridge, Livatana, 154 million.
Yeah, pedestrian bridge, yes.
Mtwapa, slum, whatever, rehabilitation, 277. Commuter rail station at Kikuyu and Kahawa, 500 million. And you look at the last one, the kind of, it's even worrying. Really, when I'm going to do a pedestrian crossing bridge, and you know the width of Tana River, all this kind of thing we're talking about. And I think the fourth estate, you need to come more, expose kind of this.
Right.
Thirdly,
yes,
and I think it's very important when we look at Chapter 6 of the Constitution, it's very clear conflict of interest. I know a senior government officer who is in a board of a private company today.
Yes.
You can't hold that. There's conflict of interest. Lastly, and I think as Stephen is saying, we need to do that draconian way. The guys of Philippines are very clear. You can make noise as human rights, but your court is very clear what happens to you. June 9th, 2010, I've said this before, taking a flight from Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur.
Yes.
We were told if you have drugs, please leave them in the plane. Wherever you go, they'll kill you. And there are not two ways about it. It was an announcement in the plane. I'm shocked. I've never had a plane in the plane. You know the normal plane, fasten your foot, seatbelt, we are landing. That was an announcement.
Where you go, they'll kill you.
There are not two ways about it.
There are not two ways about it.
And I really appreciate the commissioner from the UK. Now, the case which come, the chicken gate, it was determined there, somebody was put in jail, he is back, and has a jail term. Here is still struggling with it. I don't think anybody have been convicted. Sorry?
Yeah, they have the facts, but they look the other way.
Correct.
So they look the other way.
I think the help we can get from any foreign mission is so important in my view.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe also, James Murrell, we can pick up on this because Duale denies links to farm at the center of the 2 billion shillings tender scandal. Now you are the right person to tell us because you're in the Business Registration Service and you're the Chairman of Human Resource and Finance Committee, Office of Attorney General and Department of Justice. We can get to know who are actually the directors of these particular companies and how they were registered as well.
I'm looking at this with a lot of interest because I've seen even there is a passport number as well.
Yeah.
If you look keenly
I wish
now,
I had my laptop on screen.
The second document from the top, there is Eden B. Duale, and there is a passport number. Now, it's not very difficult to find out who that passport number corresponds to. And if it is found, then unfortunately, as much as we want to pretend Eden Duale, then he's culpable. And he should step aside and he should be incarcerated somewhere because really, as Wainaina has said, if you look at these numbers, These numbers are mind-boggling. It's 2.5 billion.
Maybe we should just raise up
If we have those,
the papers
if I have
that
2.5 billion, I'm going to
about.
buy justice anywhere in this country, as long as I'm out there. But if, for example, these accounts are frozen, and this man has no access to these funds, then he will face the music as he rightly should. But right now he's out. We will find out, because now there is a lot of information here that can actually lead to identifying or unveiling who this person is, this Concordia contracts. I mean, whichever way I look at it, there definitely there is some exaggeration of these figures.
So that's page 4 of the Daily Nation today, where we have all this expose. Correct. Of course, I remember, it should be maybe 4 or 5 years back, I had the Duale here on the program, and of course I questioned him about also his tax remittances. Of course, they were questionable at the time, and he blew a gasket about it. And here it is now today. Of course, now he's linked to another, if it is true, then I think due diligence has been done to actually find out if Concordia actually is related to him, and if he's is a government official as well. Chapter 6 of the Constitution is very clear. Absolutely. Then we need to know what you're talking about, the shock therapy. I'm not saying that it should be the way other countries have done, but we want to see the shock in the system. If he's a big honcho then in this country, then we need to see also stern action being taken on this as well.
And the problem, Debal, is this recurring of issues that seem similar. I mean, and with due respect to our CS Kionjori, he seems to be getting into this web all the time.
Correct.
Can we put a stop to this? Do we have enough maize in this country? Can we be honest with this country and say, yes, this is what we have? Because in the Rift
We'll
Valley,
come to that issue. Let's just deal with this first, then we move on to maize as well, because I think we're discussing corruption. Patrick Obath.
I think the issue of all these tenders, links to government officers and so forth, I mean, this is a recurring issue, right?
every day.
And I can tell you for free that I get cases reported to me every day. You walk into an office and you are directed to some senior person, right, who you then have to talk to for something to happen.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, right? And most of the people have told them, don't deal with them. And we just have to start blacklisting companies. And as you said in the multi-sectoral initiative, we need to create a corruption reference bureau.
Yeah.
Any country, any company that is basically at any point in the country, any company that has anything about corruption associated with them should be reported to that bureau. And the minute that happens, that information is publicly available, right? It does not happen to be something that, you go to court, you do this, whatever it is. The minute you have been you have been stopped from a tender for certain suspicious matters, that is all that is required for you to go in. The company has got to basically give us the data, and that's it. Yeah. Once you start doing that, right, things like this will be part of the information that goes into that database. And gradually you begin to build up a history of companies that have dubious deals.
Yes.
I will not deal with them anymore if that happens.
Yes.
And this is something that we are actually taking up as a private sector to establish a corruption reference bureau. If we wait for the government to do it, because of this kind of thing, it will never happen.
And even something like the nation here, challenge the nation.
Yes.
Set a unit here with investigative kind of people in these areas. They go and investigate, they give us the truth about it. As Moreo is saying, I call him Dongo. Because imagine, he has been met. And he's just a toddler and I was.
And Dongo Moreo.
Yeah, if somebody like from this, the fourth estate has this kind of skills, we know this passport number. We'll actually be having the names.
Yes.
Of the person. And Patrick, you can actually work with the private sector, get journalists who are good in investigating this work. I bet every day you'll be having a story to write on the front page.
Thank you. Thank you. Collins?
Debal, when systems fail to work, we all get frustrated. And when we do, we can throw logic out of the window. And that's what
Wainaina
wants me to do. Yesterday, actually, there was a colleague who was presenting a higher doctorate. And this was at the heart of the debate.
Yes.
The debate between formal law and informal law and the move towards integrity. And I think the challenge is when we just stick to formal rules and they don't deliver results, people get frustrated.
Yes.
And that's the challenge we have in Kenya. If you look at the UK, it isn't as if they have thrown away rules. They actually are applying the rules, but they're applying them fairly. And they're applying and dealing. That's why the colleagues were mentioning chicken gate. Here, rules are used to subvert justice. And I think that's where the challenge is.
Yes.
The solution, however, cannot be to then say, let's ignore rules completely and do everything else. Because the day you do so, you will suffer. Yesterday, I was speaking to a colleague of mine, and who 3 years ago was very happy to say, you know, it's okay, let's just go away through this mob justice. Now things were on the other side. And saying, you know, this is very unfair, we must be given a fair hearing.
Yes.
So rules must work either way. Unfortunately, Wainaina, thieves have a constitutional right, and that's not my statement. That's a statement from Article 50 of the Constitution. Article 50 of the Constitution says everybody has a fair hearing and must be given a fair hearing. The challenge is that that hearing must actually happen and it must be fair. It cannot be fair only to the thief and not fair to the country. That's where the challenge is. So it must be a process which is quick, that enables us to determine this guy is a thief and enable us to lock them in. If we then decide that everybody that we see must be locked in and must be punished as we wait for the rest of the things, soon it will be Wainaina. And soon it will be, and the day it is Wainaina.
No, they will never catch up with me.
The day they do, you will run to a lawyer and you'll want to go. But if we decide as a country that, you know, we don't need courts, we don't need rules, we just need to take a shock therapy. Let's deal with it.
I can tell you, there are people like Patrick, they will never catch up with him because he's clean. I'm not going to worry about that, my brother. And I, perhaps, I think you're being, and it's good. Maybe the inaugural, I thought the doctorate lecture you were listening yesterday.
You should have been there. You'd have learned a little
I wasn't there. Who tells I wasn't there by Patricia? And I think what you're saying is that, you know, when you have certain level of certain thing, you need to come firm. Yeah. What's wrong with somebody saying, Patrick's being investigated, why can't he be in until the case is determined?
Yes.
In until the case is determined.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least you still agree the case must be determined.
Correct.
That was my problem with you. You are saying that they
no,
don't have a right.
But you see what we have now. The case is determined when you're actually being outside. I want you to be in there. And the court can take their time.
In fact, let me tell you, Wainaina, if you look at the chicken thief, let's go down to the chicken thief. He's arrested, he's locked up in remand until his case is heard and he's dealt with. Why do we have these sacred cows? Why do we have somebody? If I've been caught in a situation that needs to be investigated, I must not be allowed to go out there and influence the justice system. So just like the chicken thief, he has a right, so does the corrupt person,
yes,
but they must be treated the same.
Okay.
But you guys are not saying the same thing I'm
saying.
No. I was saying that they have a right. You are saying they don't have.
No. We are saying the rights must be exercised with the full, in the full context of the situation.
Agreed. Thank you.
Where you must stay in as we investigate you. Just like the chicken thief is in remand, you must be in remand. And then when you're cleared and you're thinking, if the state has to compensate you, so be it.
Thank you. Let's hear from Stephen.
I think the key question we are looking at it in looking at our corruption in the country, is it about we don't have the laws? We do have the laws. Yes. So the laws we have, if we were applying them, it will make a big difference. Is it that our justice system doesn't have the capacity to handle? It has the capacity to handle. Perhaps the question is about the willingness. And corruption, for me, if I look at it in Kenya, it is something that has become almost a culture. It's something that has interfered with even our value system. And in that case, it's not just about putting a law here, putting a law here. It is about doing something that will change that culture, that will bring us back to a value system that we'll be proud of. There's a research that was done some time back about corruption among the feeling or the perception of corruption among the youths, the 18 to 24 going down. And you know what they said? Yeah. I don't care being corrupt and getting rich as long as I'm not caught. So this is something, and these are still people whom we are looking at it even for the future. they're already thinking about is something that is becoming almost their value system. Shock that system so that we can change our feeling. And look at the experience we have had. Any change, any reform that we have had in this country has come as a result of a shock we have experienced, including the new constitution that we all are proud of.
Including Michuki.
Yes, it all comes as a shock. And as long as we don't have that shock,
yes,
it will be business as usual. We do all the efforts and we'll just be at the same level.
Right.
It is a known wisdom that if you continue to do the same thing, the same way you've been doing it, and expect different results, you are defined as being insane. And is this country, are we saying in this country, are we insane? Because if there's things we are doing, what is a new thing that we have done? It's all the same old things. We need a new thing that can shock the system so that then we can define our value system as a people and move away from corruption.
All right, thank you.